Hey traders, Gavin McMaster here from Options Trading IQ, and today we're looking at whether you can trade options in the pre-market. So pre-market trading allows stock traders to react to global events and breaking news before the market opens, but what about option traders? Can we actually trade options in the pre-market or post-market? And the answer is yes, but with some big limitations. In this video, we're going to break down everything you need to know about pre-market option trading, including which options are available, the risks involved, and whether it's even worth it. Just a quick reminder that everything discussed is for educational purposes only and is general in nature. So, can you buy and sell options in the pre-market? Well, the short answer is yes, but only for certain options. For stock options, you can't trade them in the pre-market. They're only available during regular hours. So we're talking about Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, any company options, and even ETF options such as SPY, QQQ cannot be traded in the pre and post market. Index options can be, but they're only limited to SPX and VIX options. They trade almost 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. If you want to trade options outside regular market hours, these are basically the only choices. Now, this is a change that came in fairly recently. It does help us a little bit if there's a big geopolitical event that happens after hours and we need to hedge some trades, but it is very, very limited at this stage. Maybe they'll open it up to more single company stocks at some point, but for now, all we've got is SPX and VIX. So why aren't options more active in the pre-market? The first reason is low liquidity. We rely on an active market of participants buying and selling different options to create that liquidity. In the pre-market and the post-market hours, there's just simply not enough people trading the particular options that are available, being SPX and VIX. As I said, hopefully that'll change in the future. The markets are becoming more global and they're more sort of moving towards 24/7. So hopefully at some point in the future, things will be more active. But at the moment, it's very, very low liquidity. So that means there's big bid-ask spreads and things like that. Part of that reason is because there's a lack of market makers. So they're the ones creating the market. They're putting the bid and the ask prices there for each option. Very, very active during regular market hours, but in the pre and post market, it's very inactive. There's not a lot of market makers quoting prices for us. So that can make trading options almost impossible after hours. What are some of the risks of trading options in the pre-market? Even if you're trading index options in the pre-market, there's significant risks you need to consider. Here are 3 major challenges. The low liquidity is going to be a real challenge for you. It's going to mean there's really wide bid-ask spreads. It's going to be very hard to get a decent price. Inefficient pricing. So again, fewer trades, fewer market makers. It means it's going to be very, very hard to get filled at a good price. And there's a lot of uncertainty. Market makers provide a lot of stability during the day, but in the pre-market hours, without any market makers, can be very unpredictable pricing around those options. Maybe that's not the case with stock trading in the pre-market, but with options trading, there's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of slippage, and wide bid-ask spreads. So I wanted to test this out today, and I did manage to get filled after hours on a trade. So I ended up trading this SPX 6200 call. That was my fill trade there at 10.50. So it actually got filled reasonably quickly at a price that I was happy with. Whether that turns out to be a good price when the market opens tomorrow, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But it did get filled. I left it sitting there for a little while, and that got filled at 12:15 p.m. Melbourne time. So I'm not sure what time that is in the US, but I believe that is around 8:15 p.m. New York time. So pretty good to get filled at that time. Not something I'm going to do regularly, but the options there, it can get filled. There may be better ways to hedge if you need to do a hedge after hours, maybe using futures. But if you're not comfortable with futures, it is certainly possible to get filled. And I kind of proved that out today. And we'll see tomorrow how that looks, where the market trades tomorrow for that particular option. And I'll be able to judge a bit more whether that was a good fill. I think at the time, the bid price was 10.30, the ask was 10.70. I put my order in for 10.50 and it got filled. So it got filled right at the midpoint. Now, again, this is only the first time I've done it. So I don't know if that's a reliable indicator of how you can get filled at the midpoint. Maybe the futures moved up or down and these bid and ask prices changed. I wasn't actually watching the order very closely. So look, it's an interesting first little test and we'll see how this one goes. Like I said, probably not something I'm going to do too often, but it did prove out that it can be done. Let's take a look at some of the pros and cons. So with 24/7 trading of options, you have greater flexibility. You can react to global events. I remember a number of years ago now, there was a tsunami in Japan and it hit a nuclear reactor, and that saw a massive drop in the futures. So you can potentially have the flexibility to make quick adjustments, hedge and adjust, or manage your risk when something like that occurs. Think some of the stuff that's gone on around the world in recent years has impacted the futures. You might be stuck with an option position. There could be even company specific news that comes out after hours, and you might be able to react to that quickly and hedge your position before or rather than waiting till the market opens. In terms of the cons, as we've talked about, there's low liquidity, so it can potentially be harder to get into trades. I kind of proved that it wasn't too big of a deal. Same with the spreads and the slippage. It didn't seem to be too big of a deal. Again, it's only a sample size of one, so I don't know how reliable that is. But there's limited market makers as well, so fewer trade opportunities. As we're seeing now, a few hours after entering that trade, there's no bid or ask price at all on that particular option. So again, have no idea where that's going to open tomorrow. So it's a bit of an unknown. If you're asking, should I trade options in the pre-market? The honest answer is probably not. It's not going to be that helpful for most of you. The risks, the low liquidity, potentially the slippage, unpredictable price swings, I think that's going to outweigh the benefits. You might be better trying to find a different way to hedge using stock or even potentially futures, which are going to be a bit more liquid. But when might it be useful? Well, if you urgently need to hedge an open position due to major overnight news, or if you've got a position, again, only in SPX, but if you've got a position you really need to get out of it because of some after hours news, that could potentially be useful. That's pretty much the only situation I can see where pre or post-market trading in SPX options is actually going to be useful. But for most traders, it's going to be best to stick to regular trading hours. And that's majority of the time, I would say. But again, very interesting to see that we were able to get filled today in the post-market, and certainly quite a long time for 4 and a bit hours after the market actually closed. Here's what you've learned about pre-market options trading. Stock options do not trade in the pre-market. Only index options like SPX and VIX are available. Pre-market option trading comes with low liquidity, wide spreads, and inefficient pricing. Most traders are going to need to avoid trading options in the pre-market 99% of the time. If you must trade pre-market options, make sure you are aware of the risks. Make sure to check out all the resources in the description below. I hope you enjoyed the video. Reach out anytime with questions, and have a great day.